You are welcome. Today, we are continuing with our marriage conversations. Marriage is a great institution that was instituted by God, and you can either enjoy or you suffer in it, but we can make it better. So, like we have promised ourselves, we are going to have this conversation for us to be able to enjoy in our marriages. When was the last time you enjoyed communication with your partner? This conversation is about navigating communication breakdown in our marriages. I know that is a huge challenge in many marriages. So let's continue to talk. Let's talk about it. You see, there are many marriages now that people they have spent so many years in the marriage. However, the number of times they have traded words is far less than the number of days they have spent in their marriage. Is it shocking? All right. If it is, come to the front of the class. Let's have a conversation. There are many out there in their marriage. Some couples, they have resolved that having conversations and communications in their marriage is a trouble, and it brings so much hurt and emotional stress that, ironically, they enjoy not to have the conversation at all. It is good for them not to be having conversations in their marriage than to do, because having a conversation in their marriage, it costs even more than the bride price. That is the bride price they paid during the beginning of their marriage. We know that communication is the lifeblood of every marriage. So, if that is true, why are we here? Sometimes, with underlying unresolved past issues in the marriage, loudness they really fade into silence. It fades into defensiveness, and sometimes endless argument. Many couples fall into a cycle where one partner would pursue, but the other would withdraw. Words are spoken, but feelings, they are missed. Couples don't understand themselves in their marriages. Couples listen to reply instead of rather listening to understand what their partner is talking about. When your partner feels unheard, he or she is more likely to build resentment in the marriage. When one partner constantly interrupts the conversation, or his partner or her partner, he ignores emotions and communication becomes defensive rather than constructive. Now, I want us to look at 4 out of the many things that happen and behaviors that happen in marriage that destroy communication. And it is really, really eating us all up. First, criticizing and attacking your partner's character instead of the behavior weakens the intimacy that exists between the two of you. And it actually distracts the couple from having a good conversation about the real issue they are talking about. Instead of resolving what happened, they rather shift the attention and conversation into a battle over who that particular person or the partner is, instead of the real issue. Second thing that happens in communication that actually destroys the communication in marriage is mocking, or when you try to belittle your partner. That destroys your partner's self-esteem. It destroys it completely. Your partner may begin to feel worthless in the marriage. This drives a wedge between you, and it breeds anger. When you do that, your partner would lose the trust the person has in you. You will lose it. He or she will lose it because of the wedge that is created between you. So you do not have to do that. A third thing that happens that destroys conversation and communication in marriage is playing a victim whenever there is an issue, instead of taking on responsibilities because it shifts the blame away instead of addressing the real issue, and it breaks down trust as well. Let me talk about the final one, as I promised about the four of them, and that is withdrawing or shutting down during when there was conflict, where conversation is ongoing and you shut down, you decide to stop talking. You see, there are many partners who do everything possible to avoid difficult conversations. They do not have the heart to contain and talk about difficult things when it happens in marriage. You see, some of these things are happening and it's hurting us because marriage communication is not something that is taught in our homes when we are young. Our parents, our siblings do not take us through any of them. You grow, like we just grow up and we get into marriage with no idea about how to even communicate to your partner. You see, we mature when we get into marriage. We mature, one, by age, we mature by size, but actually we do not, and we are very naive about having a healthy conversation in marriages. Often, breakdown is not about, the communication breakdown is not about one being lazy. No, it is about self-protection. They are protecting themselves. They have shut down because they are protecting themselves. Let's see if someone grew up in a place where he or she was so much criticized, they shut down just to stay safe. They won't talk and they will carry it into their marriages. If one fears abandonment, they may even push so much hard on you, and it will feel like there's so much pressure coming from them or from both sides. Both these things are protecting, they are very protective moves that people do to avoid conversations. You see, and when these things happen, it keeps people lonely in their marriages. Now, how do we navigate these things? How do we really navigate these troubles in marriages? What do we do? What do we do? Let's see if we can have some way forward. When it comes to safety, what do we do? I think that, and many of the learned people when it comes to marriage issues would also recommend that we as couples should slow down in our conversations. We should actually practice that, slowing conversations down. We need to learn to listen to understand instead of listening to also reply in order to win an argument in marriage. There's no winner when it comes to conversations in marriage. Never talk to your partner because you think this one I have to win. No. When you do that, you destroy conversations in marriage and nobody enjoys. Nobody wins. You are all losers. Let us also remember that criticisms or attacking your partner and the character of your partner also breaks down conversations, and so you do not need to do that. We would need you to express your needs, and you will need yourself to express your needs, and also some sort of feelings that we go through in marriages, no matter how difficult it is, without blame. Can you do that? Use more of I statement instead of you accusations in marriages. If we can do that, we can tone ourselves down. You see, you need to focus on the behavior and not the person that is exhibiting the behavior. I know it is difficult, but we need to do that. For example, instead of saying, you never help me when I'm doing anything in the kitchen and I'm so tired, why don't you say, I feel, honey, or I feel so pressured, or I feel so tired when I do all these things. Can you lend me a hand in doing that? Probably pick that dish, maybe help me with cutting or chopping tomatoes or chopping some vegetables. You see, you are talking about the same issue, but the second one would draw your partner in to help you rather than the first one where you said you used the I and blamed your partner. Third thing, sarcasm, mockery, or belittling your partner also convey superiority, and it's not good. That is sarcasm, belittling your partner is a huge predictor of divorce. It is proven to be a huge predictor of divorce. And so you do not need to do that. We need ourselves to build respect. We need to appreciate the little things that happen in our marriages done by our partners. I want you to remind yourself of your partner's positive qualities. There's 1 or 2 or 3 things about your partner that you love. Continue to remind yourself of that instead of the negative part of your partner. See, defensiveness in the form of denying, counter-attacking, or playing the victim would rather escalate the conflict. I will not slow you down. Even if you disagree in a conversation, try to acknowledge your role in the whole matter and be ready to accept the part of your responsibility because you also play a part. Don't always push it on your partner. One other thing, stonewalling, where there was some form of a block between yourself and your partner, deliberately doesn't help. And it happens when one shuts down completely as a result of feeling overwhelmed. And when this happens, you see, the other partner does not have a choice, but he or she will feel abandoned. So this is what we can do. Whenever you feel stonewalled, whenever you think that the ongoing conversation is proving difficult, take a break. Just take a break to calm down. Then re-engage. Trust to come back to re-engage your partner. You can say, okay, I need 10-20 minutes to cool off my head. But I promise I will come back to this particular conversation. We will need to continue this conversation. And use that 10 minutes or 20 minutes to calm yourself. Breathe in and out heavily. Take a walk. You can even pray. Walk around. Listen to some form of music. In that case, you are calming yourself down. And when you think you are calmed down, come back to your partner and continue with the conversation. Because when you do that, it will build the trust. And you come back to engage in more constructive criticisms or constructive conversations than if you had continued because there was a challenge and you thought to yourself to take a break. Communication can be built. Yes, it can be built. It's difficult, but it's something that can be nurtured. And even if there are wounds, past wounds, it can be nursed. But they require patience. It's not something you can rush it. Every time you pause, every time you listen to your partner, every time you respond with empathy, you teach your partner that it is very safe to come to me and talk to me. When communication is nurtured very well, the fruits, it outfills the home and it outfills the couple. You see, many people around you would also smell the aroma of the ripened surplus of your love through conversations. Let's meet next Friday and let's continue to have these conversations around marriage. We need to have our marriages work. Have a wonderful marriage. Subscribe. My name is Kwesi Ankoma Jr.